And we are zooming into part 3 of this rather epic Alien Jesus presentation here on the Christian Whistleblower, New Cosmic Knowledge. I almost made the Rex Bear error, but I got myself just in time. And tonight, we'll also be zooming into some more podcast excellence with Jay Campbell and myself on The Last Stand. You'll want to see that tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Pacific. Jay Campbell and myself, The Last Stand. That's coming up tonight, Monday, December the 10th, 2018. We're talking right now about, ladies and gentlemen, Alien Jesus. We talked about in days past the fact, and that's right, ladies and gentlemen, I said the fact, and when I say the fact, I mean the biblical fact. It's biblically a fact that the birth of Jesus was a UFO ET alien extravaganza. We've talked about in podcasts past that the crucifixion of Jesus was a UFO ET alien extravaganza based solely upon the revelation from the New Testament itself. And today, we're going to look at, as Seeking Knowledge says, we're going to continue to draw bombs of knowledge, and we're going to look at the resurrection of Jesus as a UFO ET alien extravaganza. I got a nasty note that said, if you don't even believe these things happen, then why are you talking about them? Well, I'm talking about them because you believe they happened. And I'm trying to show you that even though I don't believe they happened, you believe they happened, and they're using them to warp your brain. They're using them to scramble your mind. They're using them to get you to believe things that aren't true and get you to be worried about things that aren't going to happen and get you to be afraid of things that never have been. I'm here to help you to understand that things are not the way that you have always thought they are. And once you see that they're not the way that you've always thought they are, then you can take the next steps and start going into the deeper truths and the deeper revelations and the deeper understandings. I just do my part, and you either do or don't do yours. And it's not up to me. All I can do is bring you the mail. Sometimes it's bills, you hate me. Sometimes it's checks, you love me. And sometimes some people get a check and some people get a bill. Maybe it's in your mind. Maybe it's in your perception. But at any rate, we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the resurrection of Jesus as portrayed within the New Testament. And we're going to talk about the resurrection of Jesus as a UFO ET alien extravaganza. Are y'all ready for this? Ready or not? Here we go. So let's go, and we're looking at, this is the text of my book, Apostle Paul Antichrist, featured on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. But at any rate, spacecraft rolled the stone away. Jeff, are you going to tell me a spacecraft rolled the stone away from the tomb where Jesus lay? Yes, I am. Birth of Jesus, the death of Jesus, now the resurrection of Jesus. And this mind-blowing story is one you definitely won't be hearing in Sunday school. Let me give you the basic textual passage from which I'll be speaking, and I'll break it down into the original Greek, into the literal English, and we'll see what it says. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Matthew chapter 28, the quintessential text for the resurrection of Jesus Christ after his death on Calvary's cross and having laid 3 days and 3 nights, depending on how you count. I always wondered how a dude could be crucified on Friday afternoon and get out of the grave on Sunday morning, and it'd be 3 days and 3 nights. I don't know how that works. Friday night, Saturday night, 3 days, 3 nights, Friday night, Saturday night, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days, 3 nights. Maybe they meant 2 days and 2 nights. Or maybe it's just, can I say bullshit? That might be a little strong. Maybe it's just something they made up. But at any rate, let's go into the text and let's break it down almost word for word. And let's go straight to the original Greek and bring that straight to the literal English. If you speak Spanish, I'm sorry, but I'm a stupid American. I only know one language. I was fairly proficient at German at one time, but that was many moons ago. So, and behold, there was a great earthquake, literally rendered a great seismic shaking like a seismic activity. There came a great shaking like a seismic activity, a great shaking like seismic activity, exactly the same scenario that was caused by the withdrawal of what I think we conclusively proved was a mothership at the crucifixion of Christ. The very same events take place, earthquakes, stones rolling away. I mean, he said to us in the crucifixion, the ship came, the earthquake happened, and stones rolled away from the graves. Do you think they said that just to say that? No, they said that so that when you read about the resurrection, that something came, an earthquake happened, and stones rolled away, you would immediately connect both scenarios. They want to hide the truth in plain sight. They want to hide the deception in plain sight. They're teaching you to deceive you. They're deceiving you to teach you, but they don't want you to learn the right way. It's the exact same scenario. An earthquake and a rolling away of stones from graves occurred at both the crucifixion of Christ and the resurrection of Christ. Now, at the crucifixion of Christ, we proved conclusively that a ship showed up. Can we, and the ship caused the seismic activity, the ship caused the stones to roll away. Can we show a ship at the resurrection of Christ as well? Well, it says, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven. The literal Greek says, there was a great shaking like seismic activity because the messenger of Yahweh was descending or coming down from out of the heavens. Something was indeed descending. Something was indeed coming down. Something was arriving from the heavens, from the skies above Jerusalem. And this thing did exactly the same things that the thing at the crucifixion did. So because the messenger of Yahweh was descending down out of the heavens, there came a great shaking like seismic activity. And, continuing our literal Greek rendering, as the messenger drew near, the shaking caused the stone to roll away. I could mic drop this mouse, but it would break. So I'll just go like that. It's a fake mic drop, but it's a mic drop just the same. As the messenger drew near, the shaking caused the stone to roll away. Because the messenger of Yahweh was descending or coming down from out of the heavens, a great shaking like a seismic activity occurred, and as the messenger drew near, the shaking caused the stone to roll away. As this thing came near, enough force was exerted by its arrival, just like enough force was exerted by its departure, to cause gravestones to roll away, just like the departure of the mothership at the crucifixion. And then we continue on to talk about that messenger, his countenance. In Greek, this is a neutral term. It could be its countenance. It could be his countenance. So let's look at them both ways. if it's still talking about that ship, its countenance, its outward appearance, ladies and gentlemen, its outward appearance was like a flash of lightning. Blinding. Do you think a spaceship descending might have the appearance of a flash of lightning? I think so. And if I had to bet, that's what I'd put my money on. The ship came down. The ship caused an earthquake. The earthquake caused the stone to roll away. People looked up. Oh, flash of lightning. The ship was causing a brightness, just like George Norrie told me on Coast to Coast AM about the Fatima stories of the sun coming down to the earth. It wasn't the sun. It was the metallic craft catching the sun and reflecting onto the people's faces, both at crucifixion and at resurrection. But there's another possibility. No, Jeff, it clearly says a messenger, even though it doesn't. But some of you are too stupid to understand that the word doesn't mean messenger just because some monk in a robe with no underwear on wrote it down on a piece of parchment 600 years ago. Because you don't want to believe the truth. You want to justify what you already believe. And I'm not supposed to say stupid. I'm supposed to say unsophisticated. So let's say it was a dude. It was a single messenger that had on some kind of a spacesuit that made him look like lightning. Let's just say it was. But it gets even more interesting because he appeared like a flash of lightning. It appeared like a flash of lightning. Either way, this is good because the phrase here translated as appearing in a flash of lightning, it only is used in two places in the New Testament. It's only used in two places in the New Testament. And guess what one of them is? One of them is when Saul of Tarsus says that a great light shone about him. He was knocked from his beast, and Jesus was talking to him. Same flash of lightning, ladies and gentlemen. Same flash of lightning, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Satan in the Bible. It's identified as Jesus by Paul. More accurately rendered adversary. So the chief adversary of Jesus is in view here again. Whether it's an individual or whether it's the individual ship, it's the exact same language used by Jesus to describe the appearance of Satan or the adversary. Now, whether it's a single dude, which actually it's not, but that brings us to something else. If it was a ship at the crucifixion, a ship at the resurrection, and the same language is talking about Paul seeing something on the road from Damascus to Antioch, then Paul's conversion was an UFO, ET, alien conversion. Paul was saved by ET. Paul was an apostle of ET. This is why you tune in to the Christian Whistleblower, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you're here. Wow. And we see that the men at the tomb became like dead men. And if you remember, it's the same exact thing that happened when the birth of Jesus was announced to the shepherds in the field. They fell down just like dead men. It's the same exact thing that happened when Mary was frozen and paralyzed and was artificially inseminated. 12, 13, 14-year-old girls, some would say raped by the being known as Yahweh, and that she was left with something, not a baby, not a child, but a thing in her womb from the Lord. Let's combine the literally rendered portions of the text and see what we have. It says, there was a great shaking like seismic activity because something was coming down out of the sky. The shaking was so great that it caused the stone sealing the tomb to roll away. It was an appearance like lightning. And those attending were so frightened, they fell over as if they were dead. Birth, crucifixion, now resurrection, UFO, ET, alien extravaganza. Now, folks, we know what happened at the conception. We know what happened at the birth. We know what happened at the crucifixion of Jesus. Now we can conclude, I believe, based on empirical evidence, that at the resurrection of Jesus, we see the arrival of the same great ship, causing the stone, sealing the tomb of Jesus to roll away in the same fashion as the gravestones rolled away at the crucifixion. Then we see a messenger of the Lord, either the craft itself, appearing as a flash of light, catching the sun, having its own luminescence, or if you want to be unsophisticated and say it was just a dude, well, it was a angel of light, and we all know that Satan himself, the adversary of Christ, appears as an angel of light. So pick your poison, boys and girls. Either way, it'll take more than a spoonful of sugar to make this Sunday school lesson go down. How do you like me now? We've always been taught it was an angel that rolled the stone away. Now that you see, now that you understand the literal language, does that still seem plausible? Come on, man. Come on, man. Once again, however you slice it, however you dice it, there's classic UFO, ET, and alien imagery once again linked with a major event in the life of Jesus. And may I suggest that at the very least, based upon UFO, ET, alien imagery linked with the conception, birth, crucifixion, resurrection, and as we'll see in our next program, coming again of the Christ, we must now, and we can no longer trust the accepted biblical veracity of such foundational events as the birth, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus. And if you can't trust the birth, the crucifixion, and the resurrection of your Jesus, then I would suggest to you, as a thinking, logical, rational person, that a complete reappraisal of your belief systems is in order, cousin. The conception, UFO, alien, ET extravaganza. The birth, UFO, alien, ET extravaganza. The crucifixion, UFO, ET, alien extravaganza. The resurrection, UFO, ET, alien extravaganza. And the so-called second coming, you guessed it, UFO, ET, alien extravaganza. I'm not making this up. This comes directly from the text, and only from the text. It's the text, old text, and nothing but the text. X. Doesn't matter what you think of me. Doesn't matter if you like me. Doesn't matter if you hate me. Doesn't matter if you think my hair's funny. Doesn't matter if you don't like my hockey hoodie. See, it says hockey. Doesn't matter if you don't like any of that. You got to deal with what you got to deal with. You got to ask your own questions. You got to question your own answers. And it's up to you, bro. It's up to you, sis. Are you ready for this? If I still was doing that WWE thing, I'd say, so what you going to do now that the truth of the scriptures is breaking out all over you, brother? But I'm not doing that anymore. I remember what it felt like when I discovered this. Boy, was I pissed. Boy, was I shook up. I thought my world was coming to an end and crashing all around me. I didn't realize that it was just my captivity that was coming to an end. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. I'm Jeffrey Darden, the Christian Whistleblower. I'm here to help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. I'm here to try to get you to ask questions and question answers. I'm trying to get you to create yourself and build a life that you'll love. We're the last generation of real humans. It's time for us to unindoctrinate ourselves. And it's time to get busy.